Being a good person does not mean that you have to be nice to everyone. And I know that sounds contradictory because we are constantly told that be the bigger person, forgive people around you, don't hold grudges against people, give people the benefit of doubt because at the end of the day, they're humans. Choose kindness, choose compassion. And yes, absolutely. But there is a huge difference between being a good human being and continuously being nice to people who are treating you badly. And understanding that difference can actually change the way you deal with different sorts of people. So let's talk about what is good versus being nice. So, being good is about your values, it's about your character. You don't intentionally hurt people. That's a good person. You don't manipulate people to get your work done. You don't lie to get your way. You don't take advantage of someone's vulnerability. You try to be fair around people. You try to be respectful towards people. And that is called being a good person, like a good human being. But being nice to people, being nice can sometimes mean being agreeable, agreeing to everyone, always available, someone who's always smiling, someone who's always accommodating, always saying it's okay, even when it is not. And sometimes we confuse these two. We think that if I say no, maybe I'm not a good person. If I stop talking to some person, maybe I am being negative. If I don't forgive someone for their actions, maybe I'm holding a grudge. No, you can be a good person and you can still say that I don't want you in my life anymore. Let's say someone repeatedly disrespects you. You communicate it once to them, but they do it again. You communicate it again to them, again and then again. Probably they apologize to you, but then they again repeat it. And at some point, you have to stop asking, how do I make them understand this thing? Because enough is enough. And you have to start asking, why am I continuing to give them access to me? Because forgiveness doesn't mean giving unlimited access. You can forgive somebody and still maintain distance from them. You can wish someone well and still not want them around you. You can understand why somebody behaves the way they do without accepting their that kind of a behavior. Understanding is not permission. And that's a very important distinction which every human must know how to make. Because when people will take your kindness for granted, they are going to misuse it. They are going to consider it as your weakness. You will help someone once, you will notice that they will expect it again. You accommodate them once, now it is your responsibility to keep accommodating. And if you stop doing that, suddenly you will become a villain in their life. You let someone slide once, but now they will think that they can do it every time. And when you finally say no, suddenly you are the bad person. You have changed. You have become arrogant. You are so rude to me now. No, maybe I haven't become rude. Maybe I've simply stopped being endlessly available. And that's absolutely okay. Your kindness should be a reflection of who you are from internally. It should not become a subscription service that everyone gets unlimited access to. Because if you keep doing that, eventually you are going to lose your own inner power. Let me give you another example. Let's say someone constantly talks badly about you behind your back, and you find that out. And instead of confronting them aggressively, you simply just decide and say that I'm going to keep my distance from them. You don't need revenge, you don't need to expose them, you don't need to start gossiping about them in return and start doing the same thing which they did. You can simply reduce your interaction with them. That's called having discernment. Because being a good person doesn't require you to repeatedly put yourself in situations where you know you're going to be disrespected again. So, distance is sometimes one of the good ways to create that boundary. But then there are people who remember you only when they need something from you. They don't check on you, they don't celebrate you, they never support you in what you're doing, they don't even show up for you whenever you require. But the moment they need any help from you, hey, can you please do me a favor, please? And because you're a nice person, you keep helping them until one day and you realize that this is not a relationship. This is an access and you are allowed to change that. You can stop giving access to people. You can say that I won't be able to help with this without giving a 15 minutes explanation to them, without feeling guilty about it, without maybe writing an essay defending your decisions. A simple no is enough. Now, let me give you another example. Let's say someone hurts you and then they apologize, then you forgive them, then they do the exact same thing again, and then they repeat it once more and then again. At some point, you have to understand this simple thing. An apology without changed behavior is just a repetition of the same cycle. Forgiveness is your choice, trust is earned, and access is something you control. You don't have to hate someone to stop trusting them. You don't have to be angry to create a distance. And you don't have to wish them harm to decide that you're simply not good for me. You can just create distance as it is. But I want to clarify this, and this is important. I'm not saying that someone was rude to you, so now you can be rude back to them. No, I'm not asking you that take an eye for an eye. That's not strength. If somebody behaves badly and you become exactly like them, what have you actually gained? Like, you can be firm without being cruel. You can be distant without being disrespectful. You can say no without insulting somebody. You can walk away without creating a scene in that situation. You don't have to lose your character just because someone else has lost theirs. That's the real test. So I think the question we need to stop asking is, how can I remain nice to everyone? And start asking ourselves, how can I remain a good person while also respecting myself? Because sometimes being the bigger person doesn't mean staying. Sometimes being the bigger person means walking away without taking any revenge. Sometimes forgiveness means I release the anger, but I also learn the lesson. And sometimes kindness towards yourself means that this relationship does not get access to me. So just remember this: you don't have to be nice to everyone to be a good person. You don't have to tolerate disrespect to prove that you're forgiving. You don't have to keep giving chances to prove that you're a kind person. And you don't have to keep a door open simply because you have a good heart. Be good, be a nice human being, be a kind person, be compassionate, be respectful, but also have standards, have boundaries, have discernment, and most importantly, don't confuse kindness with self abandonment. Because being a good person should never require you to become a bad friend, a bad partner, or a bad colleague, or simply a bad human being to yourself. You can have a good heart and still have a closed door. And once you realize that, you're going to live with power, and eventually you're going to speak with power. This is Captain Uttu Kumar Singh signing off. Jai Hind. Namaste.